YouTube. Voice lost Sly back in the building. Holiday season. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you stay warm. For some reason, I'm kind of losing my voice, so I'm trying not to scream. If you were on stream yesterday, I screamed. My teammates couldn't hear me because I was connected. It was the whole thing. But I hit a crazy play, screamed, and then like towards the end of the stream, my voice was like all raspy. So I'm gonna try to keep my natural projection like here, because if I try to go any higher, it'll strain my voice. So I'm just gonna be as relaxed as possible. If you see any like changing content, like my tone, don't take it. I'm gonna try to have some variation so it don't seem monotone. I don't want y'all to think like, say I don't really care. Because today we're talking about what if Sonic characters confused, and we got a video from Beware. Come on, that's kind of wrong. But this is gonna be Pete. You know what I'm saying? As always, gonna pre-file a like. Make sure y'all turn on that bell. The same way I have the bell turned on for my dog Beware. His content is actually fire. A lot of times he goes in and draws himself. I like to just give him a little bit of credit for that. And Discord community is linked down below. Join the Discord community. You'll be notified every time we go live on YouTube and Twitch. We also have recently been going live on TikTok. So whichever app's most native to you, tap in. I appreciate y'all for the growing support. Like, we're getting a lot of subs, and like with the growth metric, easily by the time we do the DreamCon thing, we might be monetized. So if y'all push us there, that's gonna be a crazy feeling. I'm not really here for like the quick boost, but just person to person, I appreciate the support, because ultimately y'all are just helping me get the platform I want to have to be able to like support people, uplift others, and just put people on. But that's enough. Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all what y'all came for.
What if Sonic and Silver fused together into a single character? What about Sonic and Knuckles, or Silver and
My
Blaze?
goat.
How would fusion work into a single character?
Silver's my goat. I'll put respect on his
Sonic
name. My Knuckles, you know what I'm saying? Got the locks, bro. That's my dog, bro. He been like these from the day one, bro.
Or Silver and Blaze? How would fusion work within the lore of the Sonic world? What would these fusions look like, and how powerful would they be? Today I'm going to be exploring the untapped potential of fusion within the Sonic franchise, including
Also, shout out. I just realized I have my sound booster on. So I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but there's a little echo on his voice. It's actually hard. I didn't notice, but the sound booster is actually elite, because like it makes all the sounds come out a lot crispier. So it's actually interesting, because y'all will get to experience that as well, because I'm sure it's recording the base audio. But I was gonna say, shout out to any artists watching this video. Shout out to my mods. Shout out to right now our only Twitch artist. They drew the PFP for this channel. If you want to, talk to them, exchange tips, just be in a community type space. We do have an art channel and Discord account.
Combinations for Sonic, Tails, Blaze, and more.
Oh, Tails looks so
really awesome pairing.
like.
I think you're really gonna like my idea for Silver and Shadow. And
oh yeah,
any ideas for fusions I don't mention here, be sure to tell me down below. Some of these concepts today were inspired by your comments. Okay, first up, Sonic and Knuckles. Well,
y'all hear that, chat? Commenting is very important. You know what I'm saying? So right now, down below, I want you to comment your favorite number, and if you make it to the end of the video, I'll tell you my favorite number, and I want you to comment that down below.
Wait a minute. Before I get into that, I should probably make some things clear.
What is feet, though?
How does fusion actually work in the Sonic world? We don't exactly have a lot to pull from. Metal Sonic copied the data of various life forms to transform into Neo Metal and later Metal Madness, but this is not a combination of characters into a new being that shares one mind and one will. The closest we got to good old-fashioned fusion is the Bio-Lizard at the end of Sonic Adventure 2. It used Chaos Control to teleport into the Space Colony Arc, fusing with the space station to become the final hazard. Obviously, this is only one character fusing with an inanimate object, but it does give us our answer, Chaos Control. By using a Chaos Emerald to teleport
My mic was muted, bro. That's rage, man.
into a location
What I was saying was everything in Sonic is related to Chaos Emeralds except for like the speed of characters. Um, I was talking about how Amy wears those rings. They're like pretty much like a ton in weight. Like Sonic characters are mad like Aki, like biologically wise. Like they're literally kind of like aliens, so to speak. What else was I saying? Yeah. Comment down below your favorite number. End of the video. I'll tell you my favorite number. Comment down below if you made it to the end of the video.
Already occupied by another character, the two could reasonably be merged together into a new being. This is actually a concept that's existed in the fandom for a while, called Chaos Unification. It was popularized by animator Chaos
Fusion?
X in the animation Nazo Unleashed, where Sonic and Shadow
I have seen
fused
that.
together into the new and incredibly powerful Shattuck. Many artists have done their own spin on the Shattuck design, including CAD and Terminal Repo. The latter also created an alternate fusion of Sonic.
Come on, bro. You can't tell me that's not hard.
Including CAD and Terminal Repo.
I just like his hair, the way it comes up, and the black color. Like black. You ever had a black fit? It goes with everything, and it's just infinitely tough. Sonic already has the red, like on his shoes naturally, so the red is not. It doesn't feel like extra here. The black ties in with the black on the boots. Gold goes with black, but gold also notoriously goes with everything as well. Like it's just too elite.
Created an alternate fusion of Sonic and Shadow. Instead of merging through Chaos Unification, they fused through the use of special inhibitor rings that bind their together.
See? The rings in the Sonic verse is crazy.
To create Sono. I love both of these guys and their ideas, and I even got Terminal Repo to design one of my fusions later in the video, so definitely stick around for that. Anyway, that's our main stipulation. We'll be combining these characters through Chaos Unification, meaning at least one of them has to be able to use Chaos Control. I did have one other rule. The characters have to have at least a little bit
some type of relationship.
They don't need to be best friends, but for this to work in my head, they can't be complete strangers. As much as I'd want to see Infinite fuse with Shadow, those guys hate each other way too much. Also, I have a personal pet peeve with fusion names just smushing together the names of the two fusees.
I do think it has its own like uniqueness to it, but I do think it is kind of lazy. Like Vegito and Gogeta, I do truly enjoy. However, you look at it and anything past Gogeta and Vegito, it's like anything else will kind of be corny. And that's only if you're following the train of thought of like fusing the names. I am a very big proponent of creating new names, especially because with fusions, a lot of the times they're supposed to be new people. Like take Steven Universe, for example. Ruby and Sapphire make Garnet. They're not just going, oh, that's Rufire. Oh, that's Sabby. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that could have been the name, but it doesn't have as much aura as a completely new name. And like truly talking about the fact that this fusion is its own person with its own lore, its own background, its own feelings, thoughts, etc.
I know that's how they do it in Dragon Ball. Goku and Vegeta become Gogeta, but in Sonic, the
same example I just used.
An attribute of theirs. Shadow is dark and brooding. Knuckles has big ass pointy knuckles. Tails has
two tails. Yeah.
So for these fused characters, I'll be creating a new name that captures their new traits as an original character. So, Sonic and Knuckles. When crafting this new fused character, I wanted to make sure I got both of their personalities and abilities straight, so that I can find a fair balance between the two.
I like that he's going to talk about the personalities. I think that's very important when discussing the fusion. Going back to Dragon Ball, very simple example, like the Vegeta, and the fact that Vegeta would not call Goku Goku, he wanted to call him Kakarot. It's because Vegeta's in there. And then like the cockiness, the fighting with his feet, he's a more technical fighter. Goku is a technical fighter, but his is a more like wild style that's been refined, while Vegeta is the exact opposite. Saiyans are like a primal species, and he's learned the peak of that primal species combat. And that's why we see him as refined compared to the Earth martial arts techniques. But then, you know, his peak ultra ego is him being sloppy. While with Goku, it's him being refined, and that's because despite Goku not growing up a Saiyan, it was technically none of them did after the planet blew up. But like obviously they still had the morals and stuff. Goku literally grew up in a jungle. So it's like he had that primitiveness. And that's the dichotomy between the two characters. One coming from literally nothing, and then coming to Earth, he was literally living in a jungle. The other royalty from this barbaric species that is really advanced in technology. So you can't even really call him barbaric. Coming and being with Bulma and then having his bills paid for him. You get what I'm saying? Gravity training, things that like they wouldn't have thought of back in the day. It's just a clear dichotomy, a stark difference, a juxtaposition, one would say, between their characters to narratively discuss the topic of kind of like nature versus nurture.
Starting off, Sonic is obviously all about speed, freedom, and energy. He's super kinetic.
Yes,
and very
sir.
braggadocious. He loves to show off and make fun of his enemies.
Braggadocious is the perfect word.
He's
My
basically
goat.
as chill as a person can reasonably be without being lethargic. Because like the wind, he moves effortlessly from moment to moment with nothing.
So why would he have?
All
Yeah.
this is accentuated by his impossible speed and acrobatic skill. You
Which
literally
compliments
can't put him
that.
down.
Literally,
Knuckles, on the
yeah.
other hand, is a lot more rigid. He's got a strict echidna code that he adheres to as part of his clan's responsibility
Yeah.
to protect Angel
I guess we know he was protecting the emerald. I think that's what he was about to say.
Island and the Master Emerald. He's
Yeah.
got a big ego too, but he's not a goofball
He's a
like
warrior.
Sonic. He only
Exactly.
brags, as a matter of fact. Plus, he's got a much hotter temper. Set him off and he'll punch your lights out. If Sonic can breeze through life's difficulties, Knuckles knocks them down. He's incredibly stubborn, often to his own detriment, but he can back
This
that
is a little
up
like
with
Goku
his
and Vegeta.
strength, plus his specialized abilities. His dread-like quills allow him to glide through the air.
Dreads!
He can use the spikes on his gloves to
We actually don't say dreads, we say locks. This would be a fire thumbnail. Should I? Should I? Should I? I'll try. I think that's my command for screenshots. Yeah, I got y'all boys. I'm gonna start doing, instead of pulling thumbnails off the internet, I'm gonna just pull something from the
climb up
video.
walls or tunnel through the earth. So, if
We'll
these
see,
two
we'll
were
see. If we
pushed
see a
through
fire
the
one, we'll
enemy,
take it.
And they only have a single Chaos Emerald on hand, Sonic could use it to warp into Knuckles, transforming them into Striker the Tenrec. With all of Sonic's
Striker.
speed and Knuckles.
Striker's elite. Striker's elite. Because you want to take football into account with the word striker. They need speed, but they also need like the positioning knowledge. It's like the perfect leeway of like being the freest on the field, but you also have to be disciplined in what you do. Your strikes have to be fluid but precise. It's like the mixture of oh, that's so hard. Not to mention you combine Sonic, which if you're thinking Sonic Boom relating to his speed with a knuckle, you have like this super strong punch. Striker.
Strength, Striker hits harder
I like
than
that.
any other non-super character in the series.
I
While
like
he maintains
that.
Sonic's ludicrous running speed, he doesn't
Yeah.
use his more acrobatic character in the series.
I like that
While he
design so
maintains
much,
Sonic's
bro.
ludicrous running speed,
And he's
he
my
doesn't
favorite
use his
color.
more
And he got locks.
and
I think it
only
might well be
hits
me.
Punches, no kicks. That said, those punches are faster than lightning and hit harder than
Striker. I
Now,
like it,
You
bro.
may have noticed that I said Striker is a 10.
Got that shit
These
on.
characters are all animals. Now, you may have noticed that I
He's also gonna go in detail on the fact that they're animals, bro. Sad.
said
Look at his
Striker is a
eyes,
10.
bro.
Because these characters
That's
are all
hard.
animals, when
You're
the
gonna
two
find
fusing
a-
are of a
right.
different species, I did my best to pick an animal that's a little
That's like
bit
a
both
mixture,
of them.
yeah.
So with a hedgehog and an echidna, I call the fusion a Tenrec, which is the animal I
That's
think shares the most
hard.
overlapping traits between the two. A Tenrec is a marsupial, meaning it carries
That'd be
its young in the
research,
pouch
bruh.
after birth, the halfway point between the mammalian hedgehog and the egg-laying echidna. They also have spines, eat mostly insects, and have a medium-length snout. I think it's a pretty great fit. But I know this isn't how animal species actually work. They don't actually have a perfect genetic halfway
Yeah.
point. So if you just want to call these fusions the hybrid, I think that also works pretty well. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of hedgehogs and echidnas, Striker is
I think it is unique though to actually assign an animal because you're teaching people ball that they otherwise wouldn't know.
stupid cocky. He's extremely confident
Yeah.
in his strength and his speed.
To be
Although
braggadocious.
he'll mostly keep quiet about it unless you get on his nerves. Tick him off, and he will blow a gasket,
literally a
running
mixture of the
circles around
two.
you while he blasts you with insults and
It's
beats
like
a break.
huss,
Notice I gave him a
huss.
third spike on his gloves, and they're
Yeah,
longer
I peeped
and
those.
curved, sort of like
Yeah.
Sonic's quills. He'll often lodge his spiked knuckles into a boulder or chunk of machinery, then swing it around, one on each hand like giant boxing gloves. Striker is basically unstoppable, especially
That's
if you
so
set him
fire.
up, which is why my next fusion is
I think for sure I'm gonna start thumbnailing these, bro, and I'm gonna use them for my wallpapers too. So like my wallpaper gallery will expand because I have my wallpaper change every like minute, so it'll expand and it'll also show like the different videos, like the journey we've gone through.
much more chill. That would be Sonic and Blaze. Blaze the cat was actually created to
I'm actually
foil
invested.
Sonic in the most
Yeah.
literal sense. She's a version of him from an alternate universe. He's the wind, she's burning flames. He's
Exactly.
spirited and a drifter, while Blaze
Which you can argue when it can put out fire, but it can also amplify it. I'm loving to see where this can go.
Embodiment of restraint, a calm, disciplined, and introverted hero who hides deep emotion beneath formality and focus. Blaze mainly believes that she must maintain control at all times of her powers, her emotions, and her duties as Princess of the Soul Kingdom. She has to learn to open up over time, but once
Blessing
she
is
understands
crazy.
her powers, you totally get her obsession with restraint.
Yeah, her powers are
Telekinesis
crazy.
is incredibly powerful, capable of creating, manipulating, and
That's
launching
hard.
including using them as propulsion to reach speeds on par with Sonic. Blaze is a powerhouse in every sense of the word, although she's not quick to act. She starts with diplomacy whenever possible. Honestly, when figuring out how these two would meld into a single
Yeah, like a
character,
personality,
tough, but I think
it
I
is.
cracked it. This is Comet the Civet, named Comet because he's as tough.
He
but I
has,
cracked it.
ref.
This is Comet the
He
Civet.
has
Named Comet
that
because he's as
shit
fast as a flaming
on.
meteor streaking through the night sky. He is ludicrously fast. Sonic's base running speed is boosted by Blaze's the Civet. Named a single character.
I gotta go far back so I get the
but I think I
screenshot.
cracked it. This is Comet the Civet. Named
I gotcha.
Comet because he's as fast as a flaming meteor streaking through the night sky. He is ludicrously fast.
That might be the
Sonic's
one.
running speed
That might be the
is
one.
boosted
He has that shit on like he's
Fireball,
Trunks.
visually depicted by the fact that
Look
his
at that.
his feet are perpetually turned up. And you'll notice his flames are blue, the color of Sonic,
Yeah.
also much hotter than Blaze's base.
Exactly, because
Like
blue fire is
Sonic,
the hottest
Comet
fire.
fights a lot with his feet, using
Yeah.
low swinging kicks to launch waves of fire at enemies in a
loving
maelstrom
this.
of breakdancing. Also influenced by Sonic's cockiness, he's inclined
He
to
like
make
trail.
things on the ground with the trails of fire he leaves in his wake.
You're too
Sort of
slow.
like the Psyloop in Sonic Frontiers. Now, to address two details of this fusion.
Yeah.
First, a civet is basically the halfway point between a hedgehog and a cat. Short, bristly fur that's a little bit, a little bit like a cat's hair.
He does have the
It
beans
sex
of a
and
gato.
small animals, and it's also a nocturnal, solitary creature. Certain species of civet can actually get pretty big, but most are about 4 to 10 pounds,
Chest, and I cop a pet civet.
like a house cat.
This nigga look
Also,
tough.
Comet is male. I think when fusing two characters of opposite genders,
It's
a
weird, yeah.
But I think it makes more sense that they take the form of the more dominant of the personalities. Which
True.
In this case is definitely
But his
Sonic.
cockiness,
That said,
yeah.
Comet is still influenced quite a bit by Blaze. He's a very traditional
That
type of
restraint.
hero, jovial but focused. He's not really a trickster and doesn't quip too much.
Another thing is pretty much every color on his fit is his type of fire. There's white fire, there's blue fire, there's red fire, there's orange fire, there's yellow fire. Everything in his whole kit is iridescent of fire.
He
That's
yearns for
elite.
adventure, but he's not a drifter. In a situation where things are low stakes, he might goof off a little, but when facing danger, that all goes out the window. He is no nonsense and very focused on making sure his flames don't go out of control. And if you like that sort of influence from Blaze's character, you'll
Right.
really like the next fusion. But first,
Okay.
this isn't my only video on the world of Sonic hypotheticals.
Oh,
Ever wonder
word?
what form Sonic
I never
would
seen
if he
one.
absorbed all the wisps, or if Shadow was overcome with Doom powers. You
Like,
can see both
Shadow
of those
the
ideas
goat,
and a
bruh.
bunch more in these videos here.
I'm gonna go through his
Also,
catalog at the end of this video.
and while you're down there, why not?
Well,
tap
y'all not
that
gonna see
subscribe
that.
Button. Maybe poke like or
But
tip tap up a little comment.
we'll be
to make
done.
The algorithm happy.
Facts.
If not, whatever. I'm totally not desperate or anything. Anyway, Blaze and Silver. These
Yes,
two have a
sir.
great dynamic
It's
in
perfect,
Sonic
bro.
06. Blaze's calm rationality always pulling against Silver's overzealous ambition. While Blaze suppresses
Indeed.
her emotions, Silver is practically bursting at the seams with them. His rage against Iblis, his sorrow for the destroyed world, and his misplaced righteousness as he butts head with Sonic and Shadow in the past. All of this is what made him naive enough to believe
Such a good
Mephiles
character.
when he offered him a way to save the future. And Blaze even says as much. Silver is an idealist.
He got that
Blaze
shit
is like
on.
But the two Blaze even says as much. Silver is an idealist, while Blaze and Shadow in the
Hold
past.
on.
All of this is what made him naive enough to believe Mephiles when he offered him a way to save the future. And Blaze even says as much. Silver is an idealist.
He
while
has
Blaze
that
is much
shit
more
on.
but the two of them do share similarities.
I'm thumbnailing
They
the
both
fuck out of
grew
this
up by
hoe.
isolation and a sense of duty, and bonded over it. Beyond that, Silver is.
I love art channels, bruh.
He can use his mind to
Yeah.
manipulate matter, to float and fly through the air, pick up and toss around any.
That's like the coolest part about Silver. Like, unlike the traditional, what you see in Sonic, speed, power, whatever, you get something that's completely kind of like new almost. And it's similar to Blaze's fire. Not like literally, but in the sense of like, it's something that gives you control over something else. So it just feels like kind of a breath of fresh air when like compared to what we've been getting.
See like a weapon, or even snatch his enemies right up off the ground and send them flying. Silver is a lot like a blunt object. What snatches enemies
Fighting with a loot box?
right up off the ground and send them flying. Silver is a lot like a blunt object. Well-intentioned, but often misguided and too motivated to listen to reason. He will bowl you over with the power to smash apart buildings in a wave of psychic force. But he's not all angst and destruction.
Right.
His emotionality also makes him very joyful and particularly appreciative of the
This fit is so tough.
he never got to experience in his destroyed future. So, what does it look like when he fuses with Blaze,
Be
who
free
often
forms.
willingly limits how much of the world she can see in order to maintain control? Aurora the Civet.
I like that.
All of
I like that.
alignment along with Silver's energy. A lot like Comet, she's basically a
That
balance
color,
between two
bro.
personalities. Driven and decisive like Silver, but you
Right.
know, she doesn't run around
More
screaming
restraint
about Iblis
there.
triggers and telling everybody she's from the future. Her powers are the source of her name. An aurora
Okay.
is when charged particles from the sun light up energy that dances
right.
across the sky. Like Silver's psychic energy, powers
Exactly.
like Blaze's flame.
Like heat,
And that's
yeah.
exactly how they work. She can manipulate matter and throw it around just like Silver, but anything her mind is touching, she can choose to instantly superheat.
Ignite,
Catching an
yeah.
enemy robot out of the air and melting it into molten metal in a snap, or carving huge swaths of earth out of the way by
That's
effortlessly
fire
turning
abilities.
it into magma. It's a terrifying and potentially unwieldy power, one wielded by someone who knows what it means.
Like the
to have
color
to
variation
protect
between
a
both.
future to save. So,
It's
we've
tough.
seen Sonic and Blaze and Silver. Next
Yeah.
up, how about Sonic and Silver? These two
Yes,
haven't
sir.
had much time as a duo, not like Sonic
Excellent
and
colorways.
Shadow, but the IDW comics do give them an arc to shine
Oh, that's
together
fire.
as dual protagonists, and I think that
I'm a big fan. That's fire. Look at what Sonic, bro. He be so he chill with it, bro. You can't tell me and not chill with it, bro. Hands behind the head while you're fanning out.
that
Come
was
on,
good,
bro.
because these two have a lot of untapped potential. Sonic
My
is
God.
extremely chill, while Silver is usually either freaking out about an apocalypse or elated that he gets to eat real vegetables here in the past. But they're both very prideful, so when they get into a confrontation, they play off each other really well. It's a
Yeah.
constant back and forth of, oh yeah, well check this shit out. And obviously their powers are both busted, but counter each other well. Silver can basically make you do whatever he wants if he catches you, but he has
Sonic,
to catch you.
exactly.
So when I considered making a fusion of these two, I realized
That's
the result
elite.
would not
Elite
only be
powers.
practically unstoppable, but also a nightmare to go up against.
Love to
purely
see it.
because of how cocky and egotistical.
Show me this OP goat.
Is Photon the Hedgehog.
Photon, that's
Photon is
actually
named after the fastest thing in the
energy,
universe, a
yeah.
particle of light,
Smallest
just
building
like
blocks.
him. He's got Sonic's free spirit and Silver's awakened mind, so his psychokinesis is always on. He floats above the ground completely weightless at all times.
That is motion. Now, mind you, he don't have that shit on like the other guy, but there's a certain motion to it. And that's always levitating. There's a certain amount of aura to that. You don't want to approach that.
He never walks. Instead of an ability that has to be activated, Photon mostly interacts with the world using his mind powers,
Right.
nonchalantly lifting and carrying things all
Nonchalant.
around him, while his hands are left idle, casually floating sideways or upside down at any point.
And that's like that cool cockiness that comes from Sonic. Like that kind of, because my powers are so like that, instead of being like OP or like overly dominating, I'm so chill with the world. Cause like I have everything I could ever ask for, but I'm gonna be as chill as possible.
In the day, just because he can. But when things get serious and it's time to fight, he unleashes the
Going
impossible
crazy,
speed
man.
buzzing just beneath the surface. He launches from
Photon.
a ray of light. Instead of colliding with enemies in a ball like Sonic might, he
It's
just
straight
gets
through
really
him.
close, really fast. The
Oh.
psychic field around him, tearing them apart.
Okay, yeah,
long
straight
before they
through
have a
him.
touch. You ever see that clip from Jujutsu Kaisen where
Hanami?
Gojo destroys the
Yeah,
nature cursed
straight
Hanami
through
just
him.
by walking closer to it? Yeah, like that. And when he's forced to go all out, he'll drag the world around him at speeds approaching his, meaning a handful of rocks
Bending-
silver could be
oh.
launched pretty hard. But
I'm about to say the bending of like light, the amount of things that would happen in theory if this approached light speed while using a barrier that essentially pulled on reality. He could, in theory, like create waves in the space that's there to the point where it borderlines on black hole.
they become an invisible field of instant death when held by Photon.
Yeah.
Who rips the objects
It just
back and forth
tears.
through the air so fast you can't even see them.
Yeah.
They shred through Eggman robots like a hot knife through butter. Photon is probably my second favorite fusion in the video. My favorite
Yeah,
goes to
facts.
another silver fusion
Okay.
a little later. Before we
Shadow?
get to that, I said
If it's
up top,
Shadow,
fusion
I'll
should be limited to characters who have an
Chef's
existing
kiss.
dynamic. They don't need to be best friends, but they do need to
Have to know
worked
each
together
other.
and would hypothetically
Some
be
type
willing
of
to do
like,
so
yeah.
in order to fuse.
It's like you wouldn't expect Frieza to fuse with Goku, even though they're very different heights. Like you wouldn't see that happening. It's like, bro, I don't respect your species. I'm not doing that. It's just like what he was talking about with Shadow and Infinite. It's like that's my top out. It's like saying, yeah, Sonic, go ahead and fuse with Eggman. It's not happening, bro.
But what if they were best friends? What if Sonic fused with his best bud and little
Tails.
brother, Tails? Tails is
Sir.
a much calmer, more reserved personality.
Little bro, but he got a big brain.
He's analytical and methodical by nature. He's great with technology because he's curious and he loves to tinker.
I love that about his dynamic too, because Sonic is so laid back because he has everything at his fingertips. While like Tails shows like this dynamic of what it's like to be like the underdog almost. It's like when you're seen as like this runt, right? Not that it's like, from what I remember, it's not like overly pushed. Oh, you're a runt, you know. But when you're seen as like a runt or a weakest link of a group, you find ways to adapt, and this just further shows that everybody has their own strengths. And it got it, bro. All this tech is like so compared to the abilities of some of these other people. The tech that he had, like the thought that Eggman can create this crazy technology that are the top ops, and this is creating technology that's like that level or a cut below is ridiculous. And you just have that on your side. You feel me? He's
Which makes him
him.
a very different person than Sonic, who never gets caught up in details.
Right.
Tails started out very self-conscious and shy.
Yeah,
Once
'cause he thought he
developed
was a
trust and
runt.
confidence,
Exactly.
He became less of a kid sidekick and more of a partner to Sonic.
A
He
team
specializes
member,
in
bro.
planning, strategy, and of course, engineering all sorts of tools and vehicles.
Yes, sir.
But he's also very physically capable. He can spin his twin tails like a turbine to propel
fly.
himself almost as fast as Sonic, and when he points them vertically, he
Yep.
can lift off the ground like a helicopter. While Sonic is about as specialized as you can get, he has one stat that's very broken. Tails
Well,
has a much
Tails
more
is the
varied skill
most-
set.
yeah.
So when the two merge, you get a new character that brings together all of Sonic's physicality and Tails' ingenuity. This
Show me
is Gyro
some.
the Mongoose. With Sonic's speed adapted into a body that has two spinning tails.
Gyro will
genius
never
level
not be an
utility,
elite name.
Gyro is a powerhouse. He can use his longer, thinner
yellow and
tails
blue
to
too,
fly,
chat.
of course, but like Sonic squills, the ends are hard and sharp.
He
So
kinda
his
got
helicopter
it.
blades can instantly double as a circular
Hair
saw,
things,
slicing
yeah.
everything in sight right down the middle. While Sonic has always been quick
That'll
on
be
his feet,
Gyro.
Gyro is much more crafty in a fight. On a dime,
Got
he'll
you.
turn his tails into a giant fan, blasting a tunnel of wind at an enemy to
High
send them
tech.
flying with an unavoidable
Or suction
invisible
to get rid of fire.
Or he'll use
Right.
his tails like a slingshot, revving up a spin dash while they build up tension to launch him dozens of times faster.
I really want to see that in combat. Like someone throws him back, he's going past some trees, the tails grab onto the joint, he's charging up the spin dash, the tails are yellow and blue, you see that. But while he's doing the spin dash, you're seeing that yellow and blue, and it looks almost like sparks is coming off it. And then, come on,
Faster than he would be without them.
keep
The
up.
thing is, Gyro is kind of a trickster. Sonic is a cocky
Right,
smartmouth.
with
When you
Tails'
combine that with
craftiness.
Tails' genius, you get a goofball
Yeah.
who loves to pull tricks on his friends and play with his enemies like toys. He's not cruel. Tails' gentle nature actually makes him less confrontational than Sonic, but he is always up to some harmless mischief. Now, when I conceived this fusion, I had a really hard time pinning down a few details.
I like
First, the
these.
name. I briefly considered
Arrow.
as in aerodynamic.
Arrow
or
wouldn't be
in
bad.
Speed and flight, or whirl, a rapid
I like
spin that
Gyro.
generates
I like
power.
what you did
But I
there.
went with Gyro because I think it has the most connections.
Yeah.
Gyroscope is a circular machine that can rotate in any direction, which not only makes
Those
it
who know,
a
know.
Sonic spin dash, but also Tails spinning helicopter tails.
Mhm.
I think it's also a name that Tails himself would really like with his appreciation
And the theory of a gyroscope was when it's spinning, it's like pretty much impossible for it to fall because of the centrifugal force or centripetal force or centripetal acceleration. It's it's a thing illegal in physics to not to like confuse the two, but you get what I mean. There is centripetal acceleration, so I'm gonna assume what I'm trying to say here is centrifugal force. But because of that, more so the acceleration, to be honest, because it creates a tangential acceleration that keeps it up. But because of this acceleration, that's like these, right? It can't fall. So it's also interesting because it can move in different ways without like falling over or varying from its path. And it talks about how when you have a character with as much like kind of like morals, like as righteous kind of as Sonic, but also free-willed, while also having Tails is like the versatility, you'd have a character who, though, is like steadfast and seems like they're in one place. They're constantly moving. They're constantly thinking about something. They're constantly trying to figure something out, right? But they're still stable despite that. Like, that's why Gyro, to me, chef's kiss. It just perfectly encapsulates what they would be. Well, like Arrow, it's good. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with it because it has those connections, but this hits onto who they are as a person as well.
For technology and his admiration for Sonic. Also, the halfway point between a hedgehog and a fox is frankly a lot harder to pin down than the other animal fusions. I could totally see like a fennec fox, a Corsic fox, even a tanuki would kind of make sense. I went with a mongoose because they seem to be right in the middle of the
tanuki
size-wise, and their tails are pretty normal, longer than a tiny hedgehog tail, but not as big and fluffy as a fox.
Right.
But I'm still not sure if this is the best fit for a fusion between these two. If you have a better idea for Gyro's name
comment
or
that down
species,
below.
definitely let me know down in the comments.
Yeah.
And since I'm not so confident about this one, I should move on to the fusion I am most sure about.
The Shadow one?
Shadow and Silver. These two are the most...
I called it. It's absolute cinema. It's absolute cinema. It's absolute excellent way to end the video.
Man on a mission characters in the series.
Yes, bro.
Shadow is a calm, stoic, and focused guy. He was born in a tragic situation that only became significantly more tragic as time passed. His first and closest friend, Maria, who he was created to save
Shout out Maria, bro. Pour one out.
Ruthlessly killed because of the danger he posed to the Earth. Shadow is an artificial being. He's forged from the DNA of an ancient race of evil aliens by a scientist who went mad and tried to wipe out all of humanity. By all accounts, he has every right to be a straight-up villain.
Crash,
he
bro.
with his desire for vengeance against the anger boiling up inside, which clashes with the promise he made to Maria to protect the world. So we're left with a cold and mostly detached bioweapon of a character who chooses to act in a way that lets him remember and appreciate his past without being shackled to it. Shadow is fairly complex and layered, while Silver is much more simple. His future was ruined, and he will stop at nothing to fix it. So when the two meet in 06, they do not win.
Very well, like, driven, and like, there's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm like, it's like the definition of not motivation, but like straight discipline and dedication.
Waste any time talking. They get right to throwing hands. And Shadow wins pretty handily at first. Created with innate chaos energy, he's a master at teleportation and time-stop powers of chaos control, along with a handful of energy-based attacks.
Look at that aura farming, bruh.
Calculated and precise, with a mastery of hand-to-hand combat, as well as a use of vehicles and various different types of weaponry.
Yeah.
But Silver doesn't just get washed after fighting Shadow.
Exactly.
During their first encounter, he immediately recovers by learning chaos control
on the fly.
Proof that the two have a comparable level of combat skill and attunement to chaos energy.
Pure affinity,
so when you put them together, that tremendous skill gets
sir.
They become Spectre the Hedgehog. Spectre is, as the name implies, like a ghost made of shadows. Between Shadow's speed and frequent teleportation with
I like that. I like that.
Silver's flight and telekinetic influence on the world around him, Spectre is practically impossible to pin down or keep track of. He also basically never speaks. Shadow is already the quiet type, but when you consider that these two would only ever fuse if things are absolutely dire, Spectre gets all of Silver's determination and Shadow's ruthlessness. He just blinks in and out of existence, sending you flying with the wind of psychic energy, or to your grave with the Chaos Spear, and is silently gone before your body can even hit the ground. In a rare instance,
the nickname
utter
Spectre.
a single word under his breath. But if you ever hear his voice, it likely means
it's
you
too
are
late.
not long for this world anymore.
That's fire.
Sonic fused with Silver
I like that.
as Photon showed us more of Silver's good side, but Spectre is all of the angst
That
and
dark
drama of
side.
Shadow mixed with the absolute resolute grit of Silver, who was willing to kill Sonic to save the world. And it's all backed up by his psycho chaos power. He'll stop time and then manipulate matter before starting time up again. You could be in a room full of machines, and in a blink, they've all been torn to shreds and bent into hundreds
and that's where you get Spectre, bro. You can't like put a finger on like, yo, what happened? Like, it's just like a ghost. They come in, they handle it, they're gone. You feel me? It's like when Lancelot popped up. If you tapped on Fortnite's Apocalypse, and it was like, yeah, how come I've never heard of you? Anybody who would have did not survive, bro. That's how we get down.
Throat in all directions. His precision is so great that he can use telekinesis to dislocate your shoulder or snap your leg, instantly handicapping anyone not worthy of his wrath.
That'd be so hard, bro.
but those who do deserve his wrath. Those who committed evils in the past or threaten the future
No
will all
mercy.
meet the same fate at the hands of a merciless spectral ghost.
Yeah, he's one of those. Beware is one of those. I remember it last second. Some of the people that make videos like these, they don't be throwing a little outro in there. So I would have been cooked. Luckily, though, he does have this. A lot of times, this isn't here. So, like, you just get cooked. It's next video. Appreciate y'all guys for watching. As promised prior, my favorite number is 77. So if you made it to the end of the video, comment that down below, as well as your favorite fusion amongst this group of characters. And hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, make sure you stay happy, healthy, and hydrated. And I'll catch you in the next. Peace.